The trees are blossoming, the sky is blue, and we are here at Steuer Museum for another behind-the-scenes tour, and today we are going in the Fonner Rotunda. Now, the Fonner Rotunda is a place where the public is welcome and the public is open, but we are not open right now, and so we thought this would be an excellent time to revisit this treasure of a building that we've got and talk about some of our Native American and cowboy artifacts. We're here with Carrie Stouffer, who is our curator. And Carrie, you're masked up today.
I am masked up. I am trying to follow everything that the social guidelines say for being safe. And so we're trying out the masks.
Absolutely. So we're trying to stay safe. So we're going to point out a couple different things here, but one of the things I like to point out, since this is a new edition, we have a penny press. And next time when we open our doors, whenever that will be, come and get your souvenir penny here in the Fonner Rotunda. We've got the Steuer Building, a Buffalo, Railroad Town, and a few other options. But we're going to start, Carrie, right here in the center with this pretty impressive piece of art. What are we looking at?
This is our arrow maker. It is a plaster sculpture. It may look like it's bronze, but it's just painted that way. It's got an incredible history. It was created by Ellis Berman in 1934 as part of the public works to do artwork and to support people during the Depression. And then it was given by the federal government to the Nebraska State Historical Society. It was stored in the bottom of the Capitol building. It was intended for this building, but it made several odd trips. Was stored at one point in an old grain elevator, and somebody who thought the elevator was empty dumped their corn in there on top of the sculpture. But you can see it survived, and it was cleaned up and restored and moved in here in 1977, and it's absolutely beautiful. It was put in here with Gus Fonner. This is Gus Fonner's.
Yeah, the Gus Fonner Memorial Rotunda, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
And so in honor of Gus Fonner, this building was built. Emma Fonner Corey donated a lot of the things you see here. And this family is a Sioux family, and Gus Fonner spent a lot of time. He worked on the Buffalo Bill Cody show. He was the director of the rodeo at Pine Ridge. And so this sculpture actually fit in very, very well for this building and for what we're trying to do, which is honor Gus and also showcase some of the different Pawnee and Sioux items that Gus Fonner collected.
Yeah. Now, one of the interesting things about this building and how we're going to kind of do our tour is you look on the ground and these pieces, the wood part of the floor kind of expands outward, almost as if this is a spoke, or that they are spokes on a wagon wheel.
Yep, this is built, the whole building, the architecture is one of my favorite buildings, to replicate a wagon wheel. The bricks that you see on the floor are bricks that came from old downtown.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, and were brought in here and laid here. Beautiful inlaid floors.
Huh.
Absolutely gorgeous.
All right, so let's hit the first spoke.
Yes, so the first spoke here is a lot of the items that Emma let us have from Gus Fonner. So you can see the kind of things that he had in his household, things that were important to him, things that he took on the road. He traveled a lot. He was somebody that told a lot of big fish stories. So a lot of these things do have stories that may or may not be true. He did say that he visited the Philippines, and some of these artifacts came from the Philippines. However, there's no record of him doing that. But that's kind of the charm. We found old letters. We found different things hidden in some of these artifacts as they were restored and brought in here. He was a good old gambling man.
This is
and
a big old clock, yeah. Huh. All right, so on to the next one, but that one is probably the most Gus Fonner part of the building.
And so we've kind of spread some stuff out. You can see some of these exhibits are dated, and so we're working on upgrading some different things. It's good to rotate artifacts to keep them healthy and get them out of the light. But,
like right at the end of this part of the spoke over here.
Much anticipated arrowhead display will go in these 4 cases. These cases were built on site by our maintenance staff, by Tom and Brian and Nate, and they did a great job.
Yeah.
So we're excited to get that up. And so some of these are our oldest artifacts that we have that were collected by Gus. Some more paleontology type items. All of the Native American items that you see have been through repatriation to make sure that they are items that we are allowed to show, that they're not ancestral or spiritual. They're more trade objects, work items. And we continue to have different tribes come through yearly that go through our collection and give us hints and give us more details and look at the things that we have.
And that's something that just takes years and years and years to develop.
It really does. It takes years and it takes skill, but it's also fascinating, and it's you know, something that everyone can learn. They can learn about the different feathers that are used. We've taught a couple different classes on beadwork, where we use a loom and we also use stitching. So if you're interested in that, keep an eye on our website.
Okay. And then the furthest back spoke of the building?
Yes, and so you'll see a lot of this pottery is Southwestern pottery, which again is not something specific to our area, but it is something that Gus Fonner was incredibly interested in, along with the basket making and the different, again, Native American artifacts. We have kind of stuck our picture of Samson in here. Was used in a exhibit, and we bring him out every once in a while so kids can get a feel of what it's like to stand up close to Samson without, you know, getting sat on by Samson.
Which is probably a good thing to do.
Yes.
If we can avoid people getting sat on by a buffalo, I'm all for that.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah,
thing.
and then horses and life with horses is part of like the second half of this almost.
Yeah, so this would be the gear, the different things. Obviously, Gus Fonner did not use all of these stirrups, but they were things he collected, things that were different, interesting. So we do have some Mexican stirrups. We have different horsemen, cowboys, cowgirls from all over the nation use different things. So we have a sample of that every once in a while throughout here. Kind of a timeline of how we got to early Nebraska. So really you have to come and spend some time.
Yeah, that was one thing I wanted to touch on, is this really is a building where you get a real tactile sense of some of these things. So watching a video is one thing, but visiting it is something completely different.
We're kind of breezing through things.
Yeah, and when we open back up, we really encourage people to do that. Before we go in this one, can we touch on some of the weapons that we have?
Absolutely. So the other day, Samantha, our curatorial technician, she did showed you where we store these in the vault. And this is a display that we put up from those kind of artifacts. I should say that Milt Moravec, he went through and cleaned and identified and worked on and oiled, all things proper, every single armament that we have.
Wow.
So what you see in here, what you see in the Stewart building, and what you see in collections. We did that before we opened the main building in 2015. Just to know that we had a really good solid start, and he volunteered all of his time for that. So we've got some more over here.
Oh, sure.
Where you can see the early swords. And we rotate these cases out now. They used to be just Gus Fonner's rifles and things that he used, but we're rotating them just to get people to see more of our collection and to keep them safe.
Yeah, it's a pretty good collection too.
It's an amazing collection.
Yeah.
Really.
All right, so we'll pass over here by the gift shop part where get greeted when you come in. But then the last thing we want to touch on, there's a lot to look at in this room. This room is just very rich with detail.
Yes.
So tell me kind of what the theme of the room is.
So this is more of the whole ranching cowboy thing. So you've got your different saddles. You have branding irons, things that are used to take care of the cattle. And then of course, some of the different horns that we have, the different types of cattle.
I've always liked the brands up top.
Yes, I was just going to say all the brands are up there at top. We also have different events that we do let the kids do their own branding, so that's a lot of fun. These saddles are gorgeous, and they each have a little bit of a story.
And then we come to the big guy right over here.
Yes, so we can talk a little bit about this guy.
Would you mind standing next to him for perspective? Because it's kind of hard to, this is a big horse.
He's pretty big. I'm not super tall, so keep that in mind. So this sculpture was done by Floyd Shaman. It was brought in here in just about 1977 when the building opened. It is glued together pieces of white pine. You can see all of the little pieces.
That is gorgeous.
It was specifically commissioned for this building and for Gus Fonner by Emma Fonner Corey. In each of his sculptures, whether they're small or big, this is actually the largest he's ever done.
It's a very big sculpture.
Yeah, he's about 6,000 pounds.
Wow.
He keeps a hollow piece in each of his sculptures and then hides something in there. There's something, some sort of object or whatnot. Even his son doesn't really know what's in there. He did not keep a record. And so over time, of course, we've investigated and we believe the hollow spot is right here, just based off of sound.
Okay, so this is kind of what it sounds like normally.
Yep, right there.
Huh.
A little bit of a
That's
sound,
interesting. So what do you think's in there? Is there no way of knowing?
There's no way of knowing. We've talked about in the past doing, working with someone to get an X-ray done. And maybe that's something we can do.
That's
fun
so
with
cool.
X-rays instead of the way X-rays are being used right now.
Yeah, good thought.
I do want to point out that we have a very beautiful collection of Native American portraits that are watercolor, and these are actually prints that we keep and are very excited that we have. And so if you have some time, come in and look at the portraits, and then in these containers here we have their stories, and so you can find out where they've been from, what they did, and all of that around here in Nebraska.
Excellent. Sounds good. So this is the Fonner Rotunda. Again, this is just a place where we can't recommend highly enough that you come and visit and spend some time with these pieces because they are just beautiful. And real quick, we do have one other thing about this sculpture is he has a name that might come in handy later on down the road.
Big hint, sign up for trivia night for Friday night and you'll get one answer right. This sculpture could not be created just in his workroom, in Floyd's workroom. So he made it in the basement of a football stadium. So his name is fondly Jacques, or Jock, or however you want to say it.
And maybe if you sign up for the Brainiac Bowl, you'll be one up on all the competition at this point. So
Don't
there you
tell
go.
your friends about the answer, hoard it for yourself.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on this behind the scenes tour. We will be back on Thursday where we are going to be going somewhere in Railroad Town where the public has never been. So until then, stay safe and we hope everyone is well.